What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Red Dead Ocelot here, and today we're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It is not really much of a sequel, but it came out a year after of Assassin's Creed Origins, which was in 2017. Now, I'm going to put this out there right now. With my first playthrough of this game, I really enjoyed it a lot. And it was something that, it felt different from what Origins did in terms of the combat. The combat was more fluid. It was more full. It did a lot of things that from what Origins did previously when it first came out, which is a good thing. I mean, it had some really good gameplay mechanics overall. Now, going back to when I said I finished this game on my first playthrough, like I said, I really enjoyed it. It was a good game overall. I tried playing this game on New Game Plus, and I will say it's not a good game to play on New Game Plus. It's really not, other than you being an overpowered demigod, either if you play as Cassandra or Alexios. But to my understanding, when it comes to Odyssey, though, when you're playing as a demigod, you're overpowered as all hell, really. And another thing I will put in for knowledge as well is the fact that if you play as Cassandra, she is that much of the canon character other than playing Alexios. So Alexios is not really the canon character within Odyssey, but overall, the reason why I chose Cassandra is because I feel like there's not a lot. There are some games out there that you do play as female protagonists. You have Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, you play as Aloy, right? You have the new Tomb Raiders from the previous past, played as Lara Croft. But, point being to what I was saying, it's like I just feel like that I think it was rather more cool and more, like I said, more canon as to what Assassin's Creed does in terms of Cassandra being the canon character. So I thought I'd put that knowledge out there as well. So all I can say is that, like I say, I tried playing this game on New Game Plus, like I previously stated, and I'm going to tell you one thing. This game is huge. It's massive in scale, in terms of its map, its overall setting, and while I did enjoy the whole entire setting of ancient Greece, it's definitely one of my favorite eras of the time. Obviously, other than Norse mythology or ancient Egypt from Origins. But I think that what Odyssey does for me, though, like I said, I did like it. But like I said, it's not a game to go back playing it on New Game Plus. And the reason why I say that, not just because of being an overpowered demigod as you are, it has to do with it's not as enjoyable on New Game Plus, really, because it's not just because of its expansive open world. It has to do with that, the overpoweredness of your character. You can go to max level at 99 pretty quickly during New Game Plus, or even before then if you can, by doing a whole bunch of side quests and vice versa. But overall, it's just an overall extensive, massive game, and I felt like that Odyssey was very much, it's a bloated open world. I mean, there's a lot of things to do, like the side quests and everything else, but that's a whole new entire thing. Overall, I will say, not overall, actually, for the most part, I did play the DLCs, The Fate of Atlantis, and I think it's Legacy of the First Blade. I believe so. Yeah, that sounds about right. And I thoroughly enjoyed the DLCs. Actually, no, let me take that back. I did enjoy Legacy of the First Blade DLC. It was a really good expansion. I mean, it did a unique trip my trip. Actually flip-flop that. Sorry about that. And, I really enjoyed the story of that. I thought it was it was unique to its own unique way. But at the same time, I'm just, when I finished it, I felt like I was just like, huh? What's going on here? I mean, I didn't really quite understand what it was trying to do, even though I did know what it was trying to do. It had a little bit of a, to me, I feel like that Odyssey has a little bit of an identity crisis to where it plays like an Assassin's Creed game, but it's really not. And what I mean by that, I think Assassin's Creed Odyssey is more, you're playing more of a OP demigod warrior than anything else, because that's pretty much what you are in Odyssey. And I think that's another thing that's what makes Assassin's Creed Odyssey more different from that of what Origins or Valhalla did. But Valhalla, that's going to be a different separate video. Now, what I will say, going back to the DLCs, I did play the whole entire Fate of Atlantis DLC, and I'm going to tell you right now, I was so bored, I'd never finished it. Yes, you heard that right, I never finished it. And I just couldn't do it, because I'm just like, it felt a little bland, it was boring, I didn't like I wasn't a big fan of the story. Like I said, I do like the ancient Greece, I do like its inhabitants, I do like the whole entire structure of the whole entire game itself and where it's located and everything else, but it just didn't feel magical as to what I thought about Origins. You know, Origins to me, I've always loved ancient Egypt. Sorry for that slight pause, I had to find words there. And so it's like, I think that Odyssey to me, yes, it did feel that mythical and all that cool stuff within this world, but Origins just did it so much better for me, because to that certain type of gameplay standpoint. You know, I think it had to do with the structures, the world itself, you know, the combat, everything. I thought Origins did a little bit better, in my opinion, in terms of not just because of the deep gameplay mechanics like from what Odyssey does, but I think the core gameplay mechanics at Origins was just a far more better experience for me. So, anyways, now what we're going to talk a little bit more about Odyssey, really. I think Odyssey, it's a good game. I do highly recommend playing this game on a good sale. I would not recommend buying it full price. That's what I will say as well. And I think overall, I think what Odyssey did for me, it was fun, like I said, on my first playthrough from the get. And, you know, I did enjoy everything of what it did for what it was and for what kind of a game it is. Does it fit somewhat maybe in the Assassin's Creed universe? I suppose maybe it has its place. But at the same time, I feel like that Origins did a little bit better in terms of the you know, like, not just the vengeance story of Bayek because of his son was killed, but there was a little bit of that in Odyssey, but it was not as gripping or as authentic, I guess, as it were, as to what Origins did in that type of regard. And it was, to me, I thought Origins just did that better, in my own humble opinion. So, another thing I do actually want to touch base on the rest of this video as much as I can. I think Odyssey, like I previously mentioned, Odyssey is a very open world bloated game. There's too much filler, and I felt like that it wasn't as, to me, it just, everywhere I went, everywhere I went, I'm just like, okay, I know I want to go do this, but I really want to get through the story, you know. But, you know, what's nice, but what I said about Origins, what's nice about Origins, you know, Origins and Odyssey and Valhalla have that thing called level gating. And each part of the region that you visit within these world of these three new Assassin's Creed games, you're going to be level gated. You're not going to be able to go to those regions and do so much damage. You have to level up, and that's what I mean, and that's what that level gate means. You have to level up more and more and more by doing optional stuff, so that way you can obtain better gear and better equipment, you know, like weapons or gear or vice versa. So you have to do that sort of thing in order to do that. Now, what I will do, I think once Assassin's Creed Mirage hits as of next year, as far as I know, they are trying to come through a release window between April through June of 2023. So I'm hoping to see some gameplay on that game before they eventually have a release date for it. But I believe that's what they're going to do, though. They're going to finally have a release date for it, and they're going to say, "Hey, well, we need to do some gameplay footage, so that way we don't want to lose our fan base or player base for the Assassin's Creed franchise fans, as a lot of fans have known to love these franchises or this series in particular." And I think that's another thing why I think that a lot of people are very skeptical of what Mirage is going to be or look like in terms of its gameplay structure. Not just for what we saw in the gameplay trailer as we saw fit through this year's of Ubisoft Forward 2022, which was a couple of weeks ago of this month. So I do highly advise watch that trailer. And I did my own reactionary video on that, and I'm so hyped for it. I really am. But like I said, I want to see gameplay. And I do believe that they will eventually have gameplay on that at some point in the not too distant, maybe possibly in the next coming up months. Probably maybe 2 to 3 months, or if that, or maybe just a little bit more, maybe 4 months. But hopefully, like I said, we need to know what's going to go on for that game. So, but in turn, just like going over an Odyssey one more time here. Odyssey, like I said, it's a good game. It just has so many flaws, and I think that Origins just did things so much better in terms of its open world because there was meaning to it. And I'm not saying that Odyssey didn't have any meaning to it in terms of going to different types of areas, exploring or anything, if there were any stories involved within that type of area. But overall, I think Odyssey, it just didn't have that. It just didn't have that feel to it as to how much I felt about the stories within, a specific area in Origins. So I think that Origins just did things better on that front. Overall, like I said, Odyssey. The only thing I can give Odyssey right now is its gameplay mechanic. It's a deeper, it's more robust, but I think that's all that Assassin's Creed Odyssey has. So that's all I have to give it. So, but anyways, stay tuned for more future content here at Red Dead Ocelot on my YouTube channel. But if you have any comments or questions you might have, please feel free to put them in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to reply back as whenever possible. And then maybe, hopefully, we eventually can get into certain really cool conversations and talk about this saga or series unfolds when Assassin's Creed Mirage hits as sometime next year of 2023. So, but if you want to, please subscribe if you like. Go ahead and do whatever you want. That's pretty much all I can say about right now. And so, please, just by all means, it's like you don't have to. If you don't want to play this game, I'm not saying don't pick it up, but it's all up to you and see what you really want to do for what Assassin's Creed game you want to play, specifically with the new ones or the older ones that we've had in the past few years, or if that. So like I said, but if you like this video, there will be more future videos here. So like I said, please feel free to stop by whenever possible. And like I said, hit that subscription button, hit a like, hit that notification bell. And like I said, have a good rest of your afternoon and evening or day, and peace.